Hello everyone, I'm back with one more set of questions for all of you, and this time the questions are related to class 9 chapter 1 second part, that is vernier caliper and screw gauge. Majority of the questions you will find from that part, apart from one or two which you will be, it will be a sort of revision for all of you from first part of the chapter. So the chapter is measurement and measurement and experimentation, and it's from class 9 book, ICSE board. So the first question is already on your screen. What is the definition of least count of a measuring instrument? While I proceed with the set of questions, as I said you, I have prepared 40 important set of questions for you, and if you are having any doubt in any of the questions, then you can get back to me in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer you through the comments, and only constructive comments will be appreciated. Second question. Value of one division on a measuring instrument scale is typically equal to its blank. So fill up the gap and let me know. Third question. What is the least count of a standard meter rule in centimeters? Remember, you just have to write the least count of a meter ruler, but your answer has to be in centimeters. Fourth one, if a meter rule has 10 subdivisions in each centimeter length, very tricky question. Listen again. If a meter rule has 10 subdivisions in each centimeter length, what is the value of its smallest division in millimeters? So your answer has to be in millimeters here. Fifth question. According to the principle of Vernier, how many scales are used to measure length to the second decimal place of a centimeter? How many scales are used to measure length to the second decimal place of a centimeter? Sixth question. In a standard vernier caliper, the length of n divisions on the vernier scale is equal to the length of dash divisions on the main scale. So fill up this gap. Seventh question. What is the alternative name for the least count of a vernier caliper? Very tricky question. Again, I'll repeat. What is the alternative name for the least count of a vernier caliper? Okay, here they have asked you the formula. So you have to write down the formula of a least count of a vernier caliper using main scale division, which is denoted by X, and total vernier divisions, which is denoted by N. Ninth is, here it's written concept, vernier constant. So they will ask you a question on what is a vernier constant, or define a vernier constant. 10th question is on your screen. How is the vernier reading calculated if the P division of the vernier scale coincides with the main scale division? So how do you calculate a vernier reading? Suppose in case of any value, they have used a letter or a variable P. So P division of vernier scale coincides with the main scale division. What is the formula for the total reading of a vernier caliper? Well, state the formula for total reading of a vernier caliper. Which part of a vernier caliper is specifically used to measure the internal diameter of a hollow cylinder? I repeat the question. Which part of a vernier caliper is specifically used to measure the internal diameter of a hollow cylinder? What is the function of a thin strip T attached at the back of a vernier caliper? So here you have to write the function of the thin strip, which is one of the parts of a vernier caliper. 14th question is on your screen. Which part of a vernier caliper is used to measure the length of a rod or the external diameter of a sphere? So here you have to mention the part of the vernier caliper that is used to measure the length of a rod or the external diameter of a sphere. 15th question. In a vernier caliper, the main scale is used to measure length, correct, up to what value? So obviously here I'm sure you have to mention about the number of decimal places that it will help to measure. So here the question I'll repeat again. In a vernier caliper, the main scale is used to measure length, correct, up to what value? 16th question. When the two jaws of a vernier caliper are in contact, What condition indicates zero error? So when the two jaws of a vernier caliper are in contact, what condition indicates zero error? A vernier caliper has a dash zero error if the zero mark of the vernier scale is to the right of the main scale zero mark. I'll repeat the question. A vernier caliper has a dash zero error if the zero mark of the vernier scale is to the right of the main scale's zero mark. 18th question is on your screen. If the zero mark of the vernier scale is to the left of the main scale's zero mark, the zero error is dash. Next question, write down the formula for correct reading using observed reading and zero error. So here only two criteria you will be using, that is observed reading and zero error, and write down its formula. 20th question is on your screen. How is the value of a negative zero error calculated in a vernier caliper with n total divisions? I repeat the question. How is the value of a negative zero error calculated in a vernier caliper with n total divisions? Very tricky one. Okay. 21st. The 21st question is on your screen. What linear distance does a screw move in one complete round of its head? I'll not say the answer, though I'm having this temptation right now to, just release all the answers, but I'll control myself and we'll move on to the next question. State the formula for pitch of a screw. That means how are you going to calculate the pitch of a screw? You just have to mention the formula. 23rd question. Write down the formula for finding the least count of a screw gauge. Next one, why is a screw gauge often referred to as a micrometer screw gauge? Very, very important questions. You will find it multiple times repeated for class 9 board exams. Why is a screw gauge often referred to as a micrometer screw gauge? Which part of a screw gauge is rotated to ensure the object is held gently between the stud and the spindle without over tightening? I repeat the question. Which part of a screw gauge is rotated to ensure the object is held gently between the stud and the spindle without over tightening? What is the name of the cylindrical part of the screw gauge that contains the main scale? I repeat the question. What is the name of the cylindrical part of the screw gauge that contains the main scale? 27th question is on your screen. In a screw gauge, which part is marked with the circular scale? Very, very important question. In a screw gauge, which part is marked with the circular scale? 28th question is on your screen. If the zero mark of the circular scale is below the baseline of the main scale, the zero error is dash. If the zero mark of the circular scale is below the baseline of the main scale, the zero error is dash. 29th question. If the zero mark of the circular scale is above the baseline of the main scale, the zero error is dash. And now 30th question is on your screen. How is a positive zero error calculated for a screw gauge if the P division of circular scale coincides with the baseline? Next question. How is a negative zero error calculated for the screw gauge if the P division of the circular scale coincides with the baseline and n is the total divisions? So here you can mention about the formula, but do not use any other variable. The variable to be used is already given in the question. Okay, next question. What physical issue causes backlash error in a screw gauge? Very, very important question. What physical issue causes backlash error in a screw gauge? The question can be retwisted as explain or define backlash error in a screw gauge. Next question. How can a user avoid backlash error while taking measurements? Very important question. 34th question is on your screen now. If a screw moves 1 millimeter in one rotation and has 100 circular divisions, what is its least count? If a screw moves 1 millimeter in one rotation and has 100 circular divisions, what is its least count? Next, this question is referring back to the first part of the lesson. You have to define one mean solar day. Define one mean solar day. 36th question is on your screen. What is the typical list count of a screw gauge as mentioned in the summary note? So, summary note means here the lesson that I had prepared and made one video. You can refer to that lesson of vernier caliper and screw gauge, and let me know the least count of a screw gauge. Okay, so here one sort of a numerical is there. In a vernier caliper, if the main scale reading is 5.3 centimeter and the sixth vernier division coincides, least count is given 0.01 centimeter. What is the observed reading? Very tricky question. One hint I would like to give question is what is the observed reading? They haven't asked you any total reading. They have only named it as, or they have used the word observed reading. 38th question is on your screen. If 1 centimeter on the main scale is divided into 20 equal parts, what is the value of one main scale division? 1 centimeter on the main scale is divided into 20 equal parts. What is the value of one main scale division? 39th question, what is the SI unit of mass? And the last one is, what unit of length is defined as the distance traveled by light in 1 year in vacuum? I repeat the question. What unit of length is defined as the distance traveled by light in vacuum in 1 year? So I hope this set of questions, some are tricky for you, some are very easy. And if you face any problem, then please do get back to me via comment section. I'll try my best to solve in the best possible way for you. So I'll end up here. I'll surely come back with another set of questions, another topics soon. Thank you, everyone.